All Renegades of Puck to the trenches. It's time for Renegades of Puck TV. Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the essence of no half-steppin'. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier, and let me begin today's show by telling you all about the home base freakout. Coming to you on February the 25th at 7 p.m. at Tailgate Brewery. It is the Music Row location. That is 1538 Demondrian Street. It is going to be one world-class tailgate. It is going to be an event that brings the entire hockey community together in celebration of the glorious game that we all love so much. An opportunity for all of us to put aside any differences that we have and come together to have one great night at Tailgate Brewery celebrating all things hockey the night before the Stadium Series. It'll start at 7 o'clock and go on as late as it needs to go on. There'll be no cover. It'll be all ages. You'll just have to show an ID at the door to get in, but no problems. Come on down. Everyone is going to be welcome at Tailgate Brewery. It's going to be a very laid-back atmosphere and a very fun night of having some beers with your great hockey friends and perhaps meeting some of our incredible special guests. Let me give you just a few of the special guests that we are going to be having on the show. The world-class maniac, Eric Young, is going to be there. We're also going to have former Nashville Predators captain Mike Fisher, former Nashville Predators player, current NHL Network correspondent Stu Grimson, former NHLer Bobby Ryan, and new announcement right here, Captain Canada Ryan Smith is going to be joining us for the home base freakout. We are so incredibly excited to be welcoming him to the group that we have put together. Let's not stop there, though. Let me also remember to tell you that Allie Lacombe will be in attendance with us. Hall of Fame sports writer Teresa Walker will be there. Haley Murphy will be in attendance. The Nashville Locker Room will also be in attendance. That's another brand new announcement. You can find them at NashvilleLockerRoom.com or on Twitter at NSH Locker Room. That's at Nash Locker Room. They will be selling Stadium Series merchandise right there at the home base freakout. Incredible partnership right there. We're so excited to be having them. We also have just about every one of the Renegades of Puck coming and being in attendance. The only one we don't have confirmed at this point is Brandon Felder, but if we get Felder, we'll have had every person that's ever been a part of this show in attendance that night. The Pucks Out podcast is also going to be there, and many more that have told me that they might stop by if they can, if it works into their schedule. They just can't quite confirm so that we can announce. We will have so many special guests, giveaways, surprises. It's going to be an incredible night, the home base freakout at Tailgate Brewery, the Music Row location. Please go to renegadesofpuck.com, and while you're at renegadesofpuck.com, you can go to the merchandise page, and right there, you'll find home base freakout merchandise. That's right. So confident in the success of the event that we've already put the merchandise for the event up on sale. If you order as quickly as possible, you might even have it before the event. As a matter of fact, if you order before February the 4th, by going to redbubble.com, you can get 15% off all of our merchandise right now with the promo code BIG15. We'd appreciate if you would pick up any of our merchandise. We also have our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirts, and all of the gimmicks you've come to expect from the Renegades of Puck, like socks, throw pillows, and all of the other things. We've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is incredibly important to us here in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. Please give us a subscription on YouTube. It would greatly help us. Also, turn on those notifications and then help spread the link around once we get the show posted. You can do that on Facebook, and you can also find the Renegades of Puck on Facebook. You can also find us all very active on Twitter at Renegades of Puck. We have in-game coverage, and we also have analysis, and you can always find out all of the latest information about everything going on with the Renegades of Puck right there on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can also find our audio-only version of the show right there on SoundCloud, and our behind-the-scenes live stream is on Twitch. If there are any mistakes, that's where you can find them. We also do bonus content on Twitch, and it's very therapeutic for myself, the captain, to get a chance to spend some time just talking with the Renegades of Puck before we get into the full presentation of Renegades of Puck TV. You also have access to the information before anyone else gets it right there on Twitch. We also would appreciate very much if you'd become a partner of the Renegades of Puck by going to Venmo. Just scan the QR code that's on your screen right now or search Renegades of Puck on Venmo. Every dollar that you donate goes directly to the Renegades of Puck and is helping us build the future of the Renegades of Puck. I have ambitions and I have visions, and with your help and your partnership and your support, we can make those come true. one day we will have a Renegades of Puck all skate. We're going to rent out a rink, and we're going to invite each and every one of you and your families to come on down and skate with us. We'll do that once we build up the donations. We'll also continue adding to the bunker. We've got a lot of upgrades coming up in the coming weeks and months. So appreciate each and every one of you who have taken the time to donate to the Renegades of Puck and become partners of the Renegades of Puck. I have a whole lot of great partners, and I have a whole lot of Renegades of Puck coming up on this episode of Renegades of Puck TV, so I hope you'll stay tuned for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage that begins right now. Show number 607. The Nashville Preds currently find themselves in second place in the Central Division at the All-Star break after 46 games played. They have a record of 28-14-4. They have 60 points, currently sitting 8 points behind the first place Colorado Avalanche. They are 3 points ahead of the third place Minnesota Wild. They are 3 points ahead of the St. Louis Blues. They are 12 points ahead of their next opponent, the Dallas Stars. They are 17 points ahead of the Winnipeg Jets. They are 21 points ahead of the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Arizona Coyotes aren't even on my graphic any longer. The Nashville Predators' next game will take place on the road, but it will not take place for a couple of days. On the road, the Nashville Predators have an impressive record of 14-7-4, but the Dallas Stars also have an impressive record at home. Though they are in fifth place at this time of the season, 15-6-1 is a very good and solid home record. The Dallas Stars have played 43 games. Something we have talked about is the number of games in hand. At this point, the Winnipeg Jets and the Minnesota Wild are the only two teams really trailing behind. The Preds playing 46 is still the most overall in the division, but the Blackhawks are at 45. The Avalanche are now at 44. St. Louis also at 44. So the month of February, as games are being made up on the schedule, very quickly we are seeing the gaps in the games played closing. For the Nashville Predators, after this game coming out of the All-Star break, they will face off against the Winnipeg Jets on the 12th of February, and then on the 15th of February, they'll host the Washington Capitals. On the 18th, they'll go into Carolina and face off against the Canes, and then on the 22nd, they will be at Florida. The 24th, back home to face off against the same Dallas Stars that the Nashville Predators will be facing in this next game. That, of course, will be Pekka Rinne retirement night. That is going to be an incredible and emotional night that everyone is going to want to be a part of. And that kicks off an incredible 3 days for hockey here in the Music City. Pekka Rinne retirement night versus the Dallas Stars. The next night, the home base freakout at Tailgate Brewery on Music Row. And then the following day, the Stadium Series game, the Nashville Predators hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning at Nissan Stadium. It is setting up to be hockey heaven for a couple of days here in the Music City. I can't wait to see each and every one of you for each and every one of those events. For the Nashville Predators, these two teams have played already once this season. It was back on the 10th of November. That seems like it was so long ago. It was the Nashville Predators picking up a 4-2 victory in Dallas. UC Saros got the victory, 25 out of 27 in the game. Duchesne, Janot, Johansson, and Sissons all with a goal in that game. The Preds and the Stars had a game canceled, which is why this one is the makeup. They'll play again on the 24th, as I just mentioned, for Pekka Rinne retirement night at Bridgestone Arena. It'll be the first time the Stars would come to Nashville this year, and they'll end the season series on the 8th of March at Bridgestone Arena. For the Nashville Predators, the only injury in question going into the All-Star break is Matt Benning. Now, since the Nashville Predators are not going to be back on the ice for a week, it is simply too early to speculate on anything, so we will just say we hope Matt Benning gets better. We look forward to seeing him back in the lineup. For the Nashville Predators, also looking inside their NHL ranks and their numbers, looking good in several statistical metrics. Goals for at 3.11 is 13th best in the NHL. Goals against at 2.67 is a top 10 metric at 8th. Shots for 29.2, 25th. Not good enough quality, not good enough quantity, if you ask me. 17th overall in the NHL in shots against at 31.6. And the Nashville Predators power play is 7th best in the NHL. 35 out of 139 opportunities, 25.2%. The Preds penalty kill is 11th best in the NHL, giving up 28 power play goals against on the season. Taking a look at their next opponent, and yes, I know it is a week out and it'll be after the All-Star break, but since everything is frozen, let's go ahead and take a look inside those numbers at this time. The last 5 games for the Dallas Stars go back to the 24th of January as a 3-1 win at Philadelphia, followed up the next night with a 5-1 win at New Jersey. Then they came back home and took a 5-0 loss versus Washington on the 28th, a 6-1 victory versus Boston on the 30th, and most recently on February the 1st, it was a 4-3 loss versus the Calgary Flames. Taking a look inside the numbers for the Dallas Stars, their goals for a 2.95 ranks them at 17th. Their goals against at 3.02 is 20th best in the NHL. Shots for at 30.7 is 17th. Shots against 30.5 is 10th. they do have the 6th best power play in the NHL, one spot above the Nashville Preds. They've converted 32 times this year on 125 opportunities, and they have the 24th best penalty kill in the league. They've given up 30 power play goals against its 76% conversion. So the Nashville Predators should have an opportunity to take advantage of a Dallas penalty kill. Of course, there are high-skilled individuals on both of these teams, so let's take a look inside the stats. For the Dallas Stars, Joe Pavelski leading the team and having an impressive season and a notorious Nashville Predator killer. 19 goals, 29 assists on the season for 48 points. Robertson also is having a good early career against the Nashville Predators, 17 goals and 24 assists for 41 points. Roope Hintz, another notorious Nashville Predator killer, 20 goals and 17 assists for 37 points. Heiskanen, 4 plus 23 for 27. Sagan, 14 and 9 for 23. In net, Jake Ottinger, 11 and 5, a .912 save percentage, a 2.53 goals against average. Flipping over and looking at the Nashville Predators individual statistics, Roman Josi, the captain of the Preds, continues to lead the team in scoring as he has done for most of the season. 13 goals and 31 assists for 44 points. Matt Duchene now over 40 points, 21 goals and 20 assists for 41 points. Philip Forsberg now has 24 goals and 14 assists for 38 points. Mikael Granlund also at 38 points, 32 of those coming as assists. Ryan Johansson's at 34 points, 13 goals. He is on his way to breaking his single season record as a Nashville Predator for goals scored. And Tanner Jeannot, 14 goals and 13 assists for 27 points. UC Saros, the starting goaltender of the Nashville Predators, he is simply otherworldly. We'll talk about that quite a bit later in the show with Nostradamus, but let me give you his season stats just for the moment. 24, 11, and 3. Those 24 victories are second overall in the NHL. His .927 save percentage is third best in the NHL. 2.35 goals against average. He's faced 1,210 shots against. That is the most in the NHL. He has made 1,122 saves. That is also the most in the NHL. He's the most depended on and the most relied upon goaltender in the league, and he is putting up numbers to back up what we have been saying virtually all season long. He is going to be a Vezina finalist at the end of this season, if not the Vezina winner. When the New York Rangers and the Nashville Predators played, and you got to see Igor Shesterkin versus UC Saros, we talked about how you were seeing a potential future matchup that were two titans in net in the NHL. That is proving to come true very quickly, as we will probably see two of those goaltenders being Vezina finalists coming up this season. That gets you all set up for the next game for the Nashville Predators against the Dallas Stars. Coming up next, it's the full game recap presented by REBIRTH Sports. It's now time for the REBIRTH Sports full game recap. You give me 10 minutes, I'll give you the game. You give the Renegades of Puck an additional 10 minutes, and we'll give you all the analysis, opinion, and information about everything around the Nashville Predators and the National Hockey League. First, let me tell you about REBIRTH Sports. Please go to rebirthsports.com and check out REBIRTH Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The jersey I'm wearing right now, so many jerseys that you have seen before, whether it's playing for the Mighty Drunks in league play here in Middle Tennessee, or skating the United States Pond Hockey Championships on Lake Nokomis in Minnesota, or perhaps playing in tournaments for the Wish Cup, again, here in the Middle Tennessee area. Every time I wear one of these jerseys, I get asked a myriad of questions. Where did you get it? How can I get it? And I tell them every time, REBIRTH Sports. And now I am prepared for the first time to tell you, Renegades Puck, about something incredible. Thanks to REBIRTH Sports and their great partnership here with the Renegades of Puck, for the first time ever, Renegades of Puck jerseys are going on sale. Starting tomorrow, you will see all over our social media how you can buy and purchase our jerseys. You will be able to get them personalized. You will be able to get your number on them, and you will be able to join the Renegades of Puck. We will be putting the home jerseys and the road jerseys on sale, and we look forward to you participating in that sale. It will be a limited sale. All of the information, all of the details, pricing, all of that will be featured on all of our different social media accounts. You will start to see that tomorrow. We cannot wait to get you guys involved and to get you wearing the best threads in the entire world. Those come from REBIRTH Sports. So rebirthsports.com, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, REBIRTH Sports. Now, let's get into the REBIRTH Sports full game recap. Let's go all the way back to February the 1st of the year 2022 when the Nashville Predators faced off against the Vancouver Canucks. John Hines deployed his lines in the following way: Cousins, Johansson, and Cunnin, Forsberg, Granlund, and Duchene, Trennan, Sissons, and Jeannot, better known as the Herd line, Tolvanen, McCarron, and Tomasino, Josi and Fabro, Ekholm and Carey, Borowiecki and Myers, UC Saros, gets the start in net for the Nashville Predators. We go to the 3:14 mark of the first period, and Pearson's off to the box for Vancouver. 2 minutes for hooking. Demko survives close range flurry by the Nashville Predators, then comes up with a save on Cunnin plus his rebound opportunity. At 6:09, we'd see Demko already back to work. Another save on Jeannot. At 7:42, UC Saros comes up with his big first save of the game, but at 7:56, Highmore scores for the Vancouver Canucks, his second goal of the season, Vancouver's first of the game, giving the Canucks a 1-0 lead at Bridgestone Arena. He converted on the 2-on-1 after the neutral zone turnover by the Nashville Predators. At 12:29 in the first period, Tanner Jeannot's off to the box. 2 minutes for roughing. UC Saros would have to come up with a save on Brad Hunt's one-timer. Yes, that Brad Hunt. At 14:22, just after the penalty kill, Ryan Johansson's tying the game up at 1 apiece with his 13th goal of the season. McCarron pushes the puck in the neutral zone, and Johansson is gone. Shot goes high, short side. Incredible snipe by Ryan Johansson off of the rush, tying the game at 1 apiece. At 15:30 of the first period, we see Philip Forsberg getting his 23rd goal of the season. It was a high slot tip off of Myers' long bomb. High skill deflection right here by Philip Forsberg, giving the Nashville Predators a 2-1 lead over the Vancouver Canucks at Bridgestone Arena. At 17:36, the action continues in the first period as Ekman Larsson has his third goal of the season, tying the game up at 2 apiece. It was a knuckler from out high. He did a full 360 and shot the puck. It was a knuckler, and UC Saros never saw it coming. Game tied at 2 apiece. End of the first period, Nashville out shooting Vancouver 11-9. We're 12 seconds into the second period. Matt Duchene's hitting the post, and then at 41 seconds, Pettersson is hitting the post. So we got 2 pings in the first 41 seconds of the second period. Then we go all the way to 2:46 of the period where Miller is off to the box. 2 minutes for slashing. Philip Forsberg is back to work, and he was dynamic in this game. 24th goal of the season, now a one-time bomb in the upper 90 from distance, giving the Nashville Predators a 3-2 lead. It was Philip Forsberg's 24th goal of the season, his second goal of the game. 6:39 of the second period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Chase on 8:26. Demko comes up with a stop on Forsberg at close range after a 6-stick handle that had Philip Forsberg sure to have the hat trick, but Demko keeps him out of the net. 10:23, Saros comes up with a save on Podklausen. At 14:21, UC Saros comes up with a save on Bosser. 18:37, Bosser's off the box, 2 minutes for tripping on Philip Forsberg. Matt Duchene has a near miss on a tip play near the side of the net. We hit the end of the second period. Vancouver out shooting Nashville 23-16 in this game. So the Preds only 5 shots on goal in the second period. We would see a carryover of the power play into the third period of 37 seconds. Thatcher Demko comes up with a save on Yossi as the power play expires. 1:28 of the third period. Tanner Jeannot's 14th goal of the season gives the Preds a 4-2 lead. It was a rebound put back from the top of the crease. Incredible job to corral the puck and then finish the play off. Demko never had a chance on this one. 4:59 of the third period. Demko stops Sissons crashing the slot hard after Tomasino's jam attempt. 5:34, Fabro back in the lineup, but off to the box. 2 minutes for slashing. You got to give some stick taps to Jeannot and Trenton for the incredible PK work that they did right here, ragging the puck, generating even some offensive zone time during this penalty kill. The Preds are now dominating. Just like that PK, the Preds are now taking advantage of Vancouver on the second night of back-to-backs. The Canucks look like a worn-down team, and the Nashville Predators, frankly, are controlling every zone of the ice. At 12:29, Demko comes up with another save on Cunnin. 17:20. We hit the empty net scenario at 18:15. UC Saros comes up with a save on Pettersson, and then the hilariousness of Matt Duchene trying to set up Philip Forsberg for the empty net goal to get the hat trick, as Forsberg actually misplays the pass and fumbles what would have easily been his third goal of the game. Everybody gets a chance to chuckle because the Nashville Predators come away with a 4-2 win on home ice, making up for that previous defeat on home ice against the Vancouver Canucks and taking 2 out of 3 in the regular season series against Vancouver. The Canucks do outshoot the Preds in this game 32-28, but UC Saros was up to the task, as he has now been 100 times in his career. Incredibly special what we are seeing out there on the ice from UC Saros in his development. The only question we had coming into this season and coming into him being the franchise's starting goaltender was the fact that in previous seasons he had started slow in the month of October. That seems to be very much behind him right now because, yes, while the Nashville Predators had a slow first 5-6 games, since then everything has been absolutely rock solid, and I don't think you have to ever worry about UC Saros again. Will he have moments where he goes into slumps? Absolutely, all goaltenders do. But but he is a world-class franchise starting goaltender that will be a Vezina finalist this season, and who knows for how many more seasons in his career, and he is also doing it at a very young age. As a matter of fact, I want Nostradamus to talk to me about that right now before we go any further. 30 out of 32 in this game for UC Saros. His 24 wins are second overall in the NHL. His .927 save percentage is third. He's faced the most shots against in the league. He's made the most saves in the league. Nostradamus is the starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck. If it happens between the pipes, he's got all things covered. You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35. Mosh, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Charlie. After a helter-skelter start to this one, the Nashville Predators, after 4 days off, come back and get a victory against the Vancouver Canucks 4-2 on the back mostly of Philip Forsberg and UC Saros, but overall a good performance by the team after they got their legs under them. Took full advantage of the Vancouver Canucks, who were coming on a second of back-to-backs into Nashville after playing in Chicago last night. So good on the Preds for taking advantage of that, and you definitely saw that in the third period when the Preds continued to pressure. We've seen it all too often this season. They sit back with a lead, and that tends to get them in trouble, and UC Saros has to bail them out. Not the case on Tuesday night against Vancouver. UC Saros, though, 30 out of 32, his usual solid self, par for the course. 5 straight games now, giving up 2 or less goals. We talked about it before this little streak. Giving up 3 or more in 4 straight games for only the third time in his career. Coming right back and putting in solid performances. And shockingly, the Preds are 4-0-1 in those 5 games. So again, 2 goals is the key factor for the Preds to continue to pull out victories. And victories is what I'm going to talk about. UC Saros, 100 of them in his career. Not even close to his 27th birthday as of yet. Now, you wonder, it's 100 victories. Yeah, we've seen Saros. It seems like he's been here for many, many, many years. And yes, he's been here for a little while, mostly as a backup. However, you look at where he is stats-wise with these victories compared to other goaltenders. Let's just start out with who we all know, of course, Pekka Rinne, who I believe will be in the Hall of Fame one day. Obviously, he's going to have his number retired later this month. But UC Saros against Pekka Rinne's numbers. Pekka Rinne at this stage in his career, and I'm talking 26 years, 280 some odd days old. Pekka Rinne had 30 victories in his career at this age. UC Saros has 100 of them. And this isn't something that we just say, oh, Rinne got a late start in his career, whatever the case is. You can look at any of the top 20 goaltenders in NHL history in victories. UC Saros compares pretty well with quite a lot of them. Let's go with Tony Esposito. Tony Esposito, at this age, 30 victories in his career. Curtis Joseph, another Hall of Famer, 105 victories at this point in his career, so he's right on pace with him. Ed Belfour, very briefly property of the Nashville Predators. Ed Belfour, 61 victories at this stage in his career. Jacques Plante, Hall of Famer, 48 wins at this point in his career. The list goes on and on. Roberto Luongo, 98 victories at this point. Who I believe is the best goaltender in history, Dominic Hasek. Talk about a guy who got a late start. He had 5 wins in his career at this age, and UC Saros has 100 of them. Ryan Miller, perhaps the greatest American goaltender in history, 76 victories at this point in his career. So UC Saros doing amazing things at a very early stage. He's just hitting his prime right now. Yes, he's going to the All-Star game. We got 6th place in the Vezina last year. Look for that to improve this year with the numbers he's putting up, and just doing a remarkable job taking over for, again, somebody who's as much of a Hall of Fame person as he is a player, Pekka Rinne, taking over for him. You never want to be the guy who takes over for the legend. UC Saros, pressure isn't getting to him. He's been absolutely remarkable, and good for him. We'll see what he can do at the All-Star break. Long layoff for the Preds. Again, it was 5 days off just to get this game in. Long layoff until next time they play next Wednesday. So, Charlie, take it away.
You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35. He is the starting goaltender of the Renegades Puck. If it happened between the pipes, Nostradamus has it covered. Talking all things UC Saros. I mean, the numbers are just starting to pile up. The evidence is there across the board. UC Saros is simply incredible. And at the age that he is at, who knows how far he can go. The ceiling is frankly unlimited, and it's going to be incredible to continue watching and tracking right here on Renegades of Puck TV. Let me tell you about one of our great partners, Strong Style Fitness. You can find Strong Style Fitness on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can also find Strong Style Fitness at strongstylefit.com. 150 workouts by a certified personal trainer, all posted to YouTube because Tracy has so much confidence in her work that she wants to get you up, moving, and motivated. And once you get moving and motivated, you find the results, then you can go ahead and make a donation to Strong Style Fitness. I believe in that no half-step and effort, and I love the fact that Tracy jumps in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. Whether it's a basic stretch to get you off the couch or you're ready to throw some iron like a pro, she's got you covered with explanations, what equipment you'll need, and instruction. She's an incredible trainer, and we have seen the results from many, many Renegades. Appreciate each and every one of you for jumping in the trenches with Strong Style Fitness. Please let them know we were talking about them right here on Renegades of Puck TV. All right, we need to talk about Filip Forsberg. 2 goals in this game. Now Filip Forsberg, 24 goals on the season. Just simply incredible. All franchise records are going to fall. Filip Forsberg is going to break the single-season goal-scoring record. He is also about to break the all-time franchise goal-scoring record, topping David Legwand, who, of course, is right here on the desk, the Nashville Predators' #1 overall pick in franchise history. So Filip Forsberg is on an absolute tear right now. He is as hot as he has been at any time in his career. And, of course, yes, he is in a contract year, and this is going to end up costing the Nashville Predators considerably. Good to hear David Poile already making public comments that he is, in fact, in talks and negotiations with Filip Forsberg's representatives. Signing him at this point is imperative. Filip Forsberg will be the Nashville Predators' first ever 40-goal scorer, and Filip Forsberg may be the player that one day breaks Paul Kariya's single-season franchise points record of 85. Now, let's turn it over to Sean C. Smith from ontheforecheck.com. You can find him at SCSOTF on Twitter. You can also hear him on a myriad of podcasts across the landscape of Nashville Predators coverage. He is the one and only Sean C. Smith.
Thanks, Charlie. What's up, Renegades? Had a really great experience getting to attend the Preds game as a fan, courtesy of the Scott Hamilton Skating Academy, with my son Kalen and my nephews and my daughter and a whole bunch of people. Through the combined use of tickets we had and tickets that they gave to us, we were able to go watch Vancouver play the Predators in person. I wasn't there covering the game, but of course I was still watching it with the eye of a renegade and the idea of no half-stepping. So let's talk a little bit about what I saw. And there's kind of some takeaways I have from this game that I think at this point in the season are kind of exemplary of what we need to be looking at. And I'll start with this. Let's talk about the fact that at some point in the night, and I don't remember exactly when it was, after a game where a lot of guys had been driven into the boards pretty hard by a lot of the guys on the Predators in this style of hockey they're playing, where they are being hard to play against. They're making guys have to kind of fight back if they want to maintain possession of the puck. I saw Alex Carrier go after a guy who had the puck against the boards. I don't remember who it was, but I noticed that the guy pretty much just tried to duck him and gave up the puck. And that's what you really want to see, is you want to see toward the end of the game where the Predators are playing, if they're playing to their identity, you're going to start seeing players on the other team get a little wary of what's about to happen to them when they have the puck along the boards or in the corners. And that's exactly what happens. That's a free turnover. You don't even have to fight for that. But you put in the work all night long to open things up at the end of the game and make it happen. That's something Dan Hinote has been talking about since the first day he was a member of this coaching staff. And we're starting to see it pay off. If someone's willing to just try to avoid getting hit and let that puck go, you've got that team exactly where you want them, and you've done what you need to do all night to make sure you control that game. The other thing I want to say, let's talk about Eli Tolvanen and the fact that Tolvanen has reemerged this season as someone who is not just an offensive threat, but someone you have to look out for along the boards as well. He's been known to hit guys all night long, to crush them with his body, and that's exactly what you want. You have to remember that Tolvanen is only a few years out of being an 18, 19-year-old kid with an 18 and 19-year-old kid's body. And during his time in Milwaukee, he's really filled out quite a bit and added this layer to his game where he is a strong defensive player. He's not someone you want to see coming towards you when you have the puck, but he's also someone that you should be afraid of when he has the puck. And that kind of dual threat is what makes a team like the Predators work the way they're working. Think about Filip Forsberg. Forsberg's always been known as a heavy offensive threat, but we've really started to see over the past few years that he's a very sneaky, strong, physical defensive player as well. You never think you see him coming. You're not as worried about him because you think offense, offense, offense. And the next thing you know, you're on the ground and he's standing there laughing. That's what you're starting to see out of Tolvanen as well. And I think Tolvanen's time in Milwaukee is something that really helped him add that to his game. And now that he's playing alongside guys like Forsberg, who would be a great role model to look up to as far as what you'd like to see out of him starting pretty soon, he's starting to realize that you can combine those things very successfully for a lot more, impact at the NHL level, which leads me to the last thing I want to talk about, and that's Philip Tomasino. There's been a lot of complaints this season that Tomasino is an offensive threat and shouldn't be buried down on the fourth line. And while there's probably some truth to that, I don't want to take out Mikael Granlund. I don't want to take out Ryan Johansson in exchange. But the reality here is that Tomasino is learning something down on that fourth line this year, playing alongside guys like Nick Cousins. He's learning grit. He's learning strong defensive play. He's learning to be a pest a little bit more. And remember, Tomasino's very young. He hasn't quite grown into that body the way someone like Eeli Tolvanen has. And so if he spends a year at the NHL level learning grit and learning physical toughness and learning strong defensive play from these NHLers, it's going to pay off in spades when he is playing on those higher lines soon in a few years. Now, he didn't have a lot of AHL time. He didn't have a lot of dedicated time with Carl Taylor, who helped add that layer to Eeli Tolvanen's game. So having the chance to do it at the NHL level and learn it on the fly from NHLers is something that I think, even though people are complaining about it, I think you're going to start seeing it pay off very soon for Philip Tomasino. If we can have a guy like Philip Forsberg, and the Predators can have a guy like Eeli Tolvanen mirroring Philip Forsberg, and the Predators can have a guy like Philip Tomasino mirroring Philip Forsberg, then I think you're going to be set up pretty good on your forward core for quite a while. Charlie, I'm going to send it back over to you.
You can find him on Twitter at SCSOTF. You can also find us working on theforecheck.com, and you can also hear him on a bunch of different podcasts across the landscape of Nashville Predators coverage. He is the one and only Sean C. Smith, and I appreciate him so much. And we just talked about Philip Forsberg. So speaking of goal scorers, we brought you Keith Himes' first goal in the D-League just recently. Well, let me go ahead and bring you another first goal. It is our youngest Renegades of Puck correspondent, Kalen Smith, and he has scored his first ever goal. And we have a goal scorer here in the trenches. Take it away, Kalen.
Hey, Renegades, it's me again. This week, I scored my first goal at the Ford Ice Center in Antioch in my youth hockey league. And do you want to see? And I scored my first goal. Do you want to see the video of it? Let's check it out.
Kalen Smith reporting after the game. Kalen, can you walk us through your goal?
So I was going down the ice to their net. The guy had the puck like this in between his feet and my stick. So it was like this. And this is my stick and he fell down my feet.
Oh. Shot it right through. How do you feel your team did today?
Pretty good. We won 5-3, and that was a good win.
Way to go. Can't wait to see you. Congratulations on your first goal.
Thank you.
I bought the gym in front of the net, and thank you for letting me share my goal with you, Charlie. Back to you.
It's so incredible to have Kalen as part of the Renegades of Puck. The offense of the future is secured with a Renegade of Puck with that level of talent. Look forward to tracking each and every one of the goals that you score on your way, good Renegade. Good job. Stick taps, love, and respect to you. Also, stick taps, love, and respect to you, Sean C. Smith, and your entire family. You are incredible representatives of the hockey community, and I am very thankful and appreciative to have you in the trenches and to have you as part of my show right here. You know who else I'm extremely proud to have as part of my show? Stripe Digital Solutions. You can find Stripe Digital Solutions on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can also find Stripe Digital Solutions at stripedigitalsolutions.com. The logo on the wall, the crest on this jersey, the website, renegadesofpuck.com, the plan that I have to build the brand, all of that being assisted by Stripe Digital Solutions. I cannot tell you how great of a partner Brandy is. You're going to have to find out for yourself. Believe me, she can help you grow your brand. She can help you solve the problems. No one can go up against the algorithm alone, and no one can handle all of the necessities of today's fast-moving business world and all of the different components of social media without having someone to watch your back. That's where Stripe Digital Solutions comes in. Brandy does an incredible job, and at Home Base Freakout, Brandy is going to be leading a giveaway that is going to feature t-shirts, keychains, and several other things. Incredible partnership. I have such awesome partners and friends on this show. I love working with each and every one of them, and I love representing their companies and their brands, and I appreciate that they represent the Renegades of Puck. You know what? I also need to find out what happened at Bridgestone Arena last night from Brian Baston. Brian Baston's my numbers guy. He runs the Renegade Analytics desk, and normally you can find him with one big stat. But on this particular occasion, Brian was on the front lines at Bridgestone Arena, and he tracked down a very particular Renegade of Puck, one with a very certain set of skills. You would know him as Chris Mason, Nashville Predators color commentator and former Nashville Predators goaltender. He joins Brian Baston in this segment to talk all things between the pipes.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. We're just a month and a half away from the NHL trade deadline, and rumors of trades are already swirling. However, this weekend, Nashville found themselves in the center of speculation on an undrafted free agent. Mac Guzda, a 21-year-old overager goaltender currently with the OHL's Barrie Colts, has garnered major interest from several NHL teams. It was reported last week on the 32 Thoughts podcast with Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick that the Nashville Predators are one of the front runners for the young goalie, along with the Penguins, Rangers, and Maple Leafs, whom Guzda reportedly met with last week to discuss a contract. The 6'5" goaltender has been named the OHL's Goaltender of the Week twice this season so far, and aside from a stellar season on the ice, there's another reason Nashville fans should be interested in this young player. Guzda is a native of Knoxville, Tennessee, with dual U.S. and Canadian citizenship. While Nashville has invited Tennessee-born players to development camp in the past, the team is yet to sign or draft a player born in the Volunteer State. If you listened to Jeff Merrick report on Mac Guzda, surely you heard that the young man has a staunch advocate urging teams to sign him, our very own Chris Mason. The former Predators goaltender and current Bally Sports broadcaster joined me to talk about his connection with Guzda and what skills the young goaltender brings to the ice. I'm here with Predators broadcaster and former goaltender Chris Mason, here to talk about Mac Guzda. Chris, could you tell us about how you know the family and why you're so high on this prospect?
Yeah, well, actually, it's kind of a cool story. Actually, when I retired, I came back to Nashville, and I wanted to get into coaching with some of the youth. So JP Dumont was running a hockey academy with Tim McAllister and the goalie coach there, and partner was Brad Guzda, right, who's Mac's father. And keep in mind, this was 5-6 years ago, and I got to know him, and Brad actually really helped me in terms of the ways to look at the game from a coach's perspective. And it's an interesting thing when you're a player and then you turn to coaching and how big the communication was. And so we developed a great relationship, and then I got to know him. He started telling me about his son. His son's a goaltender. And then I had the opportunity to work with Mac, and I see this kid. This is 6 years ago. He's 6'3" or 6'4" at the time, and he's a 14-year-old kid, same as my nephews back home, and we're working with him in the summer, and Brad, who's Mac's father, gets JP Dumont to come shoot on him in the summer. So and he's telling him, don't hold back. I want you picking corners and left and right. And I watched Mac, and he was just an absolute specimen, the way he could move at his age. And it actually didn't surprise me because of the way that Brad has molded so many young goaltenders here in Nashville. And obviously his first protege was probably his son, so it was really impressive. And when I saw him there, I was just blown away. He's got Canadian and U.S. citizenship. I think he tried to go. He could have got a scholarship. I think BU and a number of other places were very interested in him. He decided to go OHL. Had a tough couple of years, and now he's on the free agent map. And Nashville, I guess, is one of the teams that's interested in him.
Yeah, he's been named OHL Goaltender of the Week twice this season, and there's been a lot of interest. I believe he met with Toronto last week. And Jeff Merrick on 32 Thoughts podcast talked about how Nashville would be another team that would be in the mix for him. And mentioned you, saying that you've been somebody that really been supporting this kid. So aside from the fact this is a 6'5" goaltender, and he's really come into his own this season with Barrie, but I mean, what kind of skills does he have, and what do you think he could bring to a pipeline?
Well, I really feel like, if you're somebody that's got an organization that you look at a kid and you see potential and you project down the line, and as a goaltender, that's a position that takes many years to perfect. I mean, I don't know if you ever perfect that. There's maybe a handful of guys in the best league in the world that I feel have done as good a job as any is doing that, but he's a kid with a unique skill set in terms of his size, his speed, his understanding of the position. But for anything goaltending wise, you can have all of that, but you have to figure out the mental aspect of the game. And as a young goalie with a lot of expectations, that's something that's part of your journey that is equal to the physical skill that you have to master is your mind. And for any team, I just, when I saw him, I just couldn't believe how advanced he was for his age, and his body control, and like I said, the understanding of the position. He's a guy that I would definitely take a risk on. Yeah, definitely. And one of the cool things about him is that, like myself, he's from my hometown of Knoxville, Tennessee, which did some preliminary research. I don't believe the Predators have ever signed or drafted a player born in Tennessee. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this would be the first one. So I think that would be a great, local connection, something that maybe would work in favor of the Predators being able to sign him. Well, absolutely. I mean, his dad played, he was a goaltender, and he played in Knoxville for a number of years. And I don't think, I'd have to do the research too, but that would be, we knew this day would eventually come. Whether it's Mac or somebody else, that the homegrown talent that is born and raised here will play in the National Hockey League. And for the Predators, I think that could be a really, really big story. Obviously, there's a lot of other intangibles, but it's really cool to see that there's youth here that are putting themselves on the map like that. Oh yeah, and that's got to be something that's going to be really proud of, especially if you're a kid here in Nashville learning how to play hockey in the last few years, and seeing a guy that grew up here in the state and then signing with the big NHL club. I think that would be something really great, both for the team, the organization, and the fans here in Nashville. Thank you a lot, Chris. I appreciate your insight on this. Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks. Love what you guys do. And let's get in the trenches. No half-stepping. Come on. All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Brian, and thank you so much, Chris Mason. It's a big deal to have Chris Mason as part of the show, and we sure do appreciate having Chris in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. One more segment to bring to you before the end of Renegades of Puck TV. We all know that the NHL was supposed to shut down for the Olympic break. We had made plans to cover the Olympic tournament and to continue our coverage throughout the NHL stoppage and during the break. And we're going to continue doing that even though the NHL is going to be making up games. We're just going to combine all of the coverage, and if the episodes need to be made a little bit longer for a couple of weeks, then the episodes will be a little bit longer for a couple of weeks. I love Olympic hockey, and I definitely wanted it represented here on the show. International hockey is a big part of what the Renegades of Puck are going to be doing and covering in the future. So we are very excited to welcome Ann Kimmel, covering the women's hockey tournament from the Olympics. She is going to be giving us updates and reports on each and every episode as we go through the Olympic tournament. So I now turn it over to Ann to introduce everything about the women's Olympic tournament coming up here in the next couple of days.
Hi everyone, I'm Ann Kimmel, and I will be joining you in the bunker, bringing you complete 2022 Beijing Women's Olympic hockey coverage through the Olympic tournament. The 2022 Beijing Olympic Games are kicking off soon, and the women's hockey tournament is going to be very exciting. I'm going to preview that tournament for you. We're going to talk about the format of the Olympics for the women's hockey side. We're going to talk about medal favorites, and of course, I'm going to introduce you to a few of Team USA names to know. The format of hockey this time for the women's side is different. There are 10 teams competing this time in the Olympics. There's always only been 8 before, but they've expanded. Those 10 teams are divided into 2 groups. Group A are the top teams in international competition. We have the United States and Canada, of course. Also, we have the Russia Olympic Committee team. Team Finland and Switzerland are in Group A play. Group B play has countries Czech Republic, China, host nation, of course, gets an automatic bid, Japan, Sweden, and Denmark. Now, play will begin in a preliminary round with group play. All of the teams from Group A are automatically moved into the quarterfinals games. Now, 3 of the 5 teams from Group B will earn a spot in the quarterfinals. When you talk Olympic hockey for the women's side, you of course have to talk about the 2 favorite teams. That's Team United States and Team Canada. This is a fierce hockey battle, like all USA and Canadian battles are when it comes to hockey. Team USA comes in as the reigning gold medal winner. They won in 2018 in Pyeongchang in an overtime victory. But Team Canada enters the Beijing Olympics on a high note. They won gold at the 2021 World Championships, and this is a team that's clicking on all cylinders. So Team Canada may be the one team to beat in this tournament. There's, of course, some other teams in the medal mix. Team Finland, not to be underestimated. And the Swiss team also, very strong team. So let's talk Team USA roster. This roster is a really exciting mix of veteran Olympic players and some who are new to Olympic competition. Names of veterans that I'm sure you know: Hillary Knight is back on the roster. Kendall Coyne-Schofield and Amanda Kessel are on the USA roster. Some of the rookie names that you are bound to hear during these games: Haley Skamura, Jinsey Dunn, and Abby Rock. They bring some young energy and are excited to experience their first Olympic competition. Team USA has a hard challenge right out of the gate. They face off tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, 7:10 a.m. Central Time. The game will be played against Team Finland. Team Finland, this is a game that has given USA some trouble in international competition before. They're going to be a challenge right out of the gate. So Team USA going to have a hot start to place themselves in a good position in group play. I'm Ann Kimmel. I'm going to have your updates on women's hockey throughout the entire 2022 Beijing Olympic Games. I'm excited to be in the bunker with you following women's Olympic hockey.
Thanks so much, Ann. Her addition to the trenches is certainly greatly going to improve what we do here for coverage in the Renegades of Puck, in the bunker, and in the trenches. Covering sled hockey for us now, covering Olympic and international hockey. She also does an incredible job covering Nashville Predators. Covering the men's side of the Olympic tournament, it's Kyle Perkins. I am so excited to have Kyle covering the men's tournament for us right here. So we will have one Renegade of Puck covering each side of things. That way we don't overburden, and we'll be able to bring you updates on each and every show. It's K-Perks time. Go ahead, my friend.
Thanks, Charlie. As we all know, the NHL is not sending its players to the men's hockey tournament at this year's Olympics, so the teams are going to look a little different than we probably would have estimated them to be, with all of our favorite stars and players from our favorite NHL teams being represented there. That said, there's still going to be a lot of talent on display, especially from teams like Russia, Sweden, Finland, that have leagues based in their own countries that are still sending their players. That said, there's still a couple of guys on the United States team. I'm not going to go through the whole roster that are going to be fun to watch, and 2 that I would really say would be Matty Beniers and Brendan Brisson. Both of those guys play for the University of Michigan, and they're both extremely talented. Beniers was the number 2 overall draft pick that went to the Kraken this last draft. All 25 players on the U.S. team have played or are played in have played in college hockey. So it's good to see that has been a pipeline for this team. Going on, our groups this year are as follows. Group A is Canada, the United States, Germany, and China. Group B is Russia, the Czech Republic, Switzerland, and Denmark. Group C is Finland, Sweden, Slovakia, and Latvia. The United States is going to start Thursday the 10th at 8:10 a.m. Eastern, 7:10 Central, with a preliminary game against China. China is expected to be very, very bad, to the point that they didn't want to let them in the Olympics because of the expected poor performance. Going through the odds a little bit, and these are betting odds, and I'll be honest, I don't really understand how this works, but I know the smaller number is better, and that tells me that Russia is the heavy favorite at plus 160. They're followed by Finland at plus 400, Sweden at plus 500, the United States at plus 600, and Canada at plus 700. And that's as of today's odds. So all things can change. That said, remember, boys, legs feed the wolf. Let's go USA. Back to you, Charlie.
He is Kyle Perkins, and he's going to be covering the men's tournament from the upcoming Olympics. We are so appreciative to have Kyle here in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck, not just for what he's going to be doing, helping us cover the Olympics and international hockey, but all of the things he does behind the scenes to help us make the visuals that help make Renegades of Puck TV so entertaining. Appreciate each and every one of the Renegades of Puck for jumping in the trenches today and delivering the goods. You talk about no half-step in hockey coverage, you get it from us right here in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. You heard from Mostradamus, you heard from Sean C. Smith, you heard from Kalen Smith, you heard from Brian Bass, you heard from Chris Mason, you heard from Ann Kimmel, and you also heard from Kyle Perkins. Well, I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. I love each and every one of you Renegades of Puck, and though it will be a couple of days before we record the next episode of Renegades of Puck TV, we will always be available to you and interactive across all of our social media platforms, so please check us out on each and every one of those, and make sure you stay tuned for the details. The jersey on sale announcement, it is going to be a limited release, so you're going to have to make sure you get in touch with us, get all the details, and make sure you find out exactly how you can get your personalized Renegades of Puck jersey from the Renegades of Puck and from Rebirth Sports. Home base freakout. We cannot wait to see each and every one of your faces there. We hope every one of you comes out. It is going to be a night to put aside each and every one of our differences and come together for the love of the game of hockey. Pekka Rinne retires on Thursday, the home base freakout on Friday, the stadium series on Saturday. People are going to be coming from across the hockey universe to be here in the Music City. Invite them all. Bring them to the home base freakout at Tailgate Brewery, the Music Row location on Demondrian Street. It's open to all ages. There are no cover. You just need to show an ID at the door. We're going to have food. Of course, we're going to have plenty of beer on hand, and we're going to have a lot of other cool things, giveaways, special guests. It's going to be incredible. We're putting together the tailgate of a lifetime. My friends and I, my partners and I, we are delivering you the no half-stepping goods when it comes to the home base freakout, and I can't thank Tailgate Brewery enough for what they have done to step up and make sure the Renegades of Puck have everything they need for the upcoming event. We'll see you very soon, Renegades of Puck. Hope you enjoy the All-Star break. We'll be back in a couple of days to talk about the Nashville Predators and the Dallas Stars. This has been show number 607 for each and every one of the Renegades of Puck. I'm your host and captain, Charlie Saunier. Stick tabs, love, respect.